This is Bishop Craig in Northern Michigan, and this is take one for the week of the 18th of June. Peace be with you. I'm working this week from our cabin, which is one of the blessings of being the bishop of this synod. So in addition to my regular work, I get to swim in the lake and ride on the boat. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm recording this video on June 19th, Monday. On Juneteenth, also known as Emancipation Day or Black Independence Day, commemorates the arrival of United States troops in Galveston, Texas, who informed some of the last of our enslaved people that they were free. It's an important day. Proponents or advocates or those who are teaching about this newest federal holiday advise that the best way at this point we can commemorate it is to learn about the history of slavery in the United States. And so on Martin Luther King Day, I always listen to King's letter from a Birmingham jail. That's one of the things I do. So this year for Juneteenth, I found and listened to an NPR reading of Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which I am sure I heard in 11th grade history maybe, but I don't think I have heard since. And I found that very valuable. So if you Google NPR Emancipation Proclamation Juneteenth, you'll get to hear it as well. Maybe we can provide the link for you. We'll see. This week is very quiet for me. I had a bunch of Zoom meetings on Monday. We have staff meeting on Wednesday, and then I have nothing else scheduled. And then on Sunday, I will be at Zion in Freeland to install their new pastor and to celebrate with the people of Zion and their partners at Our Savior in Saginaw. Pastor Kevin O'Brien comes to us from Pennsylvania and will be beginning, I think he began his ministry on Sunday, led worship on Sunday, and is still in transition, but the service will be at 10 o'clock. The gospel reading is really interesting for an installation. It's some of Jesus' hard words in the gospel. So some of the things Jesus is saying to an old bishop and a new pastor on this day and to all of us is, first of all, a disciple or a follower is not going to be treated better than the master. It is enough for the disciple to be like the master. So if they call the master, the leader, if they call Jesus Beelzebul, the devil, how much worse they're going to say about the disciple. So that is both a hard word, but it's a gracious word when we are when pastors and deacons are not the most beloved, revered, embraced people. Jesus is reminding us that while we promise to love our people, nowhere in the installation service do they promise to love us back. We are like Jesus in that regard. So it is enough for us to be like Jesus, and knowing that, that's really gracious. It gets better at the end, but for right now, it is enough for us to be like Jesus. Secondly, Jesus says, the truth is going to come out. The truth is going to come out. He says it fancier, but that's good news too, I think. In the end, the truth is going to come out. So we don't need to be afraid. We don't need to keep secrets. Even if we try to keep secrets, the truth is going to come out. And that's been my experience as well. So we might as well tell the truth. In fact, what Jesus says is, what you hear me whispered, shout from the rooftops. And Jesus later in the reading says, if you're ashamed of me, I'll be ashamed of you. And, if you acknowledge me, I will acknowledge you. So if Jesus is saying it, we need to share it, which means we may need to share some things that are not going to be popular. But that's what we are called to do. And in the end, after all these hard words, Jesus says that we are precious. We are precious. That all the hairs on our heads are numbered, and that 2 sparrows don't fall to the earth without God knowing, and we are worth more than many sparrows. So those are 4 things to say to a new pastor. And then Jesus goes on to say that he did not come to bring peace, but a sword. So I guess the 5th thing I would say is expect conflict. If we're faithful to the ministry of Jesus, we're going to get it. So, but we are precious. That's, I think, where we end. We are so precious that Jesus gave his life for us and raises us to new life. So that's probably what I'll be saying to Pastor Kevin on Sunday, and we'll see how that all takes shape. On Friday, I had a delightful morning. I was invited by my friend, former Bishop John Mockholtz, retired bishop, to Zoom in to Rochester, New York, which is where I got my start, in Fairport, my first call, and to meet with a group of pastors to discuss the book, My Burden is Light, Making Room for Jesus in Preaching. Yeah, the book was kind of a springboard. We really discussed preaching and ministry and the church. It was just a lively, renewing, life-giving opportunity. And so I was very pleased to do that. And I'm even more pleased that in September, we are doing a 3-day retreat. We are holding a 3-day retreat for pastors and deacons and anyone else who cares about preaching. And rather than a couple of hours, we'll have 2 days, 2 full days to talk about the book, yes, but as a springboard to talk about preaching and ministry and the church and being a pastor, deacon, or listener to sermons. The registration is out. It's open. You can find it at my webpage, a link, which is craigasatterley.com under events. I'm going to be reminding you probably every week about one of our in-person events because we heard loud and clear that people want in-person events. So I hope you'll have a look, and I hope you'll register, and I hope we will see you in the fall, if not before. This is Bishop Craig in Northern Michigan, enjoying being in God's creation, and may the peace of Christ be with you always. Take care.